Who doesn't know and use Uber these days? Need a ride? Uber it. Hungry? UberEat it. The company has become synonymous with getting things done, and quickly. Every second matters in the 21st century, and in such a situation, even the thought of standing in lines for buses or taxis doesn't seem like a smart idea. Uber Technologies Inc. developed a concept to minimize travel time and improve the experience. This is a story of how Garrett Camp, Oscar Salazar, and Travis Kalanick created Uber in 2009. But we can bet you'd never guess how it came into being. Join us as we take you on a ride to tell you how struggling to find a cab in Paris led to a $69 billion idea. This American company has transformed how people travel. Uber began as a major participant in the ride-hailing industry and eventually expanded into other industries such as food delivery, micromobility using bikes and scooters, and peer-to-peer ride systems. When Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp were stranded in Paris on a snowy evening and unable to hail a taxi, that's when Uber was founded. In a light bulb moment, they wondered, what if you could call for a ride just by tapping your phone? It was revolutionary to consider utilizing a cell phone to hail a ride from wherever you were. People wouldn't have to stand in traffic or wander the streets looking for a taxi. No more relying on other people to pick and drop. No need to walk till the bus stop and wait. This idea was checking so many boxes, and it's the reason why it became so popular in big cities. At the time, Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp were at Le Web, an annual tech conference that's known for being the birthing ground for many revolutionary ideas. In 2007, the two successfully sold startups they'd co-founded. While Camp sold StumbleUpon to eBay for $75 million, Kalanick sold Red Swoosh to Akamai Technologies for $19 million. Uber's original concept was for a timeshare limo service that customers could book through an app. The young entrepreneurs parted ways after the summit, but Camp remained fascinated on the concept once he got back to San Francisco and purchased the domain name ubercab.com. While Camp was still the CEO of StumbleUpon in 2009, he started developing an Uber cab prototype on the side. By the summer of that year, Camp had convinced Kalanick to accept the position of chief incubator at Uber Cab. Early in 2010, the service was trialed in New York with just 3 automobiles, and the formal debut happened in May in San Francisco. In early 2010, Ryan Graves, who'd served as general manager of Uber and had been a significant element in the startup's history, was named CEO. When Kalanick became CEO in December 2010, Graves became general manager and senior vice president of global operations. The app's soaring popularity was spurred by how simple and easy it was to request a car. A ride could be requested with the touch of a button, and a GPS would pinpoint the location. The San Francisco-based firm soon rose to prominence and expanded rapidly. The first Uber ride was actually booked in 2010, and in less than 2 years, Uber went worldwide in Paris, a full circle from its inception. Uber was hitting success after success. First Round Capital led a $1.25 million funding round for the business, which was its first significant investment. 2011 was a significant year for the expansion of Uber. The business expanded to New York, Seattle, Boston, Chicago, and Washington early in the year, after raising an $11 million Series A funding round headed by Benchmark. It also opened an office in Paris. Kalanick said that Uber had received $37 million in Series B funding from Menlo Ventures, Jeff Bezos, and Goldman Sachs in December at the 2011 Le Web conference. The business expanded its selection in 2012 when it introduced UberX, which offered a less-priced hybrid automobile as a substitute for a black car service. After its investment rounds, Uber was valued at $51 billion, making it the most valuable startup in the world as of July 2015. That's not all, though. Uber then received an additional $3.5 billion from Saudi Arabia's National Wealth Fund in June 2016. And then things went south. Uber's quick expansion brought with it a lot of controversy. They disclosed their financial situation to Bloomberg for the first time in April 2017, and it revealed that the company had lost $3.8 billion globally in 2016. They sold their company in China in the summer of 2016, and without it, net adjusted losses were $2.8 billion, including losses from that division. The company's valuation had fallen from a high $68 billion to $48 billion by the following year. With a 30% price cut from the previous valuation, the Japanese corporation SoftBank Consortium and a group of investors led by Dragoneer Investment Group successfully bid for 20% of Uber's equity in 2018. Other difficulties within this time period were also noticeable, such as the deadly collision involving an Uber self-driving car. Also, the New York City Council decided to stop the issuance of new licenses to ride-hailing companies like Uber and Lyft in August 2018. To make matters worse, the shares of Uber had the largest first-day dollar loss in American IPO history. Wall Street analysts had estimated Uber to be worth $120 billion, which would have made it the most valuable firm to ever list on the stock market. Its post-IPO valuation was only roughly $69 billion, or slightly over half of its high-flying IPO. In 2017, when a former female Uber engineer exposed the company's sexist culture in a 3,000-word blog post in February, more problems started to arise. It was claimed that the majority of people found Uber's company culture to be extremely hostile, sexist, and disrespectful. Scandals in the months that followed appeared to follow the business and its CEO. Press-released letters revealed that sexist attitudes existed across the organization, including those held by Kalanick himself. In addition, Kalanick was seen on camera arguing with an Uber driver about reducing prices, which didn't help his standing with the general public. After a shareholder uprising, Kalanick resigned on June 21, 2017. It was reported that Dara Khosrowshahi, the previous CEO of Expedia, will take over after a little more than 2 months. Uber has also seen its fair share of fierce opposition from the taxi industry and government officials during its expansion. The business then employed David Plouffe, a well-known political and business strategist who worked on Obama's 2008 presidential campaign as part of its plan to lessen the resistance. Despite all the ups and downs, you can't deny the impact this company has had in revolutionizing the world we live in. Uber describes itself as a technology firm rather than a ride-hailing service, and they've got a great marketing strategy that keeps the vision of its founders intact. In Uber's internal processes, drivers are viewed as key partners as opposed to critical resources, which means they're independent contractors and not technically employed by Uber. If Uber drivers were workers, they'd have to pay more taxes, which would decrease their profitability and hike prices. They also offered a referral bonus to its first users to encourage them to tell others about it. Also, Uber often uses various gimmicks with new services when they launch or when they significantly change an old one. They're known as the masters of stunt marketing for this reason. They pull off eccentric acts, like delivering kittens or offering passengers the chance to ride with famous drivers. One of the most popular businesses in the world, Uber formerly held the record for being the most valuable company in the world and defined the way that ride-sharing and transportation are done today. Despite the fact that the COVID-19 outbreak has complicated Uber's ambitions to turn a profit and caused large losses in its ride-hailing business, the company's strategic investments in its food delivery operation, UberEat, and its recent victory in California's Proposition 22 are encouraging. You can measure their impact by this. Consumers of a specific generation might not recall a time before Uber. Few could have predicted how much this ride-sharing software would alter the world. The company's name encapsulates the offerings of an entire industry. On that note, we'll wrap up today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one.